This video is a quick tutorial on how to generate a big kick sound like this, starting from a snare sample like this, using the Granular engine in OSnap. Let's get into it. So starting from an empty rack, we're gonna load up a default Granular engine. We're going to load a sample into it. For this, we're gonna be looking for acoustic drum sounds, and we're gonna be especially looking for a no snare sample. As you can hear, the sample is previewing through the Granular engine at the moment. That's why it sounds a bit unnatural. We need single impact. This one is fine. This one could work. This one has a bit too much resonance. Same thing for this one. Same thing for this one. So let's pick this hit 4. Here for the number of grains playing, we're gonna stick to 5. To set the pitch, we're gonna put this knob to 0 in order to have the 5 grains playing the exact same pitch. That way we're gonna be able to adjust the pitch of the drum. And here you're gonna be looking for something pretty low. Like this. For the pitch variation, which basically induces some variation in play speeds for each grain, you'll want to be around something like 48%. Could also double click and type it like this. For the pan variation, this can be adjusted to taste, but what this basically does is spread the grains in the stereo image. So if you are on 0, you're gonna have all the grains in the middle, and the more you crank this value, the more spread in the stereo image the grains will be. Here we're going to be somewhere around 25%, but again, this should be adjusted to taste. So we have this sound. Now it's going to be a matter of EQing it. So we're going to bump up the low end by using a low shelf around 90 Hz, and you'll want to boost quite dramatically this band to something like 8 dB. Then we're going to use the drive on this layer, so we're going to turn it on, bring it to something like 8 dB. And here we're going to be using this drive in order to emphasize the attack of the drum. So we'll set the drive color to a value in the positive range. We're going to anticipate what's coming next by pulling down the output volume here to something around -8 dB, because we're going to be drastically driving and boosting the signal in the master section. So in the master section, again, you'll want the master volume to be quite low, because we're going to be pushing the signal a lot. So let's pick -8 dB. And let's start with the drive. So for the drive, we're going to turn it on, stick to the soft curve, and we're going to be pushing the input gain to something like 16 dB. Like so. And we'll pull down the output volume to -10 dB and have a dry wet value of 50%. Then we'll go to the EQ, set a high pass filter at around 40 Hz. With a Q value a bit higher than normal so that we have a little spike. We're going to add another peak around 50 Hz here. We're going to be adding something like 5 dB with quite a large shape like this. And then we're going to be using a high shelf to make the high mids and the high frequency stand out way more. This we're going to be setting around 600 Hz, and we're going to be decreasing the Q value here so that the bump is a bit softer. We're going to have a bump of around 8 dB. And the trick here is to use the compressor with some quite aggressive settings. For the attack, we're going to choose something like 20 milliseconds so that the initial spike of the sound clearly has some time to go through the compressor before the compressor actually starts to operate. For the release, we're going to be picking something like 60 milliseconds, so quite a long release time. Threshold should be around -20 dB, and the ratio around 1 dB for 6 decibels above threshold. And an important thing here is to use the sidechain high-pass filter here so that the very low end of the sound doesn't trigger the kick drum. Then we're gonna go to 8 dB of makeup gain and 50% dry wet. And that's already pretty heavy sounding. What you could do to make the sound hit even harder is you could bump up the input gain here to something like 18 decibels. Maybe we could increase this low frequency bump slightly so that our kick resonates even more in the low end. If you want to emphasize even more the high frequency content of the kick, let's say, you could crank up this band gain even more. But here is fine. From there, you could play around with the number of gains, which is going to affect the result quite a lot. And yeah, if you want to have a more stereo-rich sound, again, don't be afraid to crank up the pan variation here. And the pitch variation as well, it's gonna drastically change the sound, and it's really up to you to pick what feels right. If you crank it up all the way, you see that the attack stands out way more. But if you leave it around 50%, you can hear that the low end is more focused. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a like. Subscribe to this channel if you want some more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.